Good evening and welcome to Darkwoods Paranormal. I am your humble host, patrolling our descent into darkness, Gabriel Von Graves. And this is All Things Paranormal Sunday, brought to you every Sunday at 7 o'clock Central. To our live streamers and to our new radio audience, welcome. Settle in, for tonight we walk through history, folklore, and first-hand impressions from locations that left a mark on me when I was in the Smoky Mountains just a week ago. So this is just a snaps of some of the experiences I had. The full episodes of tonight's stories will soon be available at darkwoodsparanormal.com or on whatever platform you prefer to listen to us, just so you listen. Thank you, as always, for supporting our content and for walking into the dark with us. Before we descend into tonight's stories, I would like to introduce my friend, my co-host, and a large reason why we continue to be successful, Raven Knight.
Hello, and thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Raven, thank you for steering the show last week when I was descending into the Smokies. Couldn't have asked for a steadier hands than yours, my dear. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So, while I was in Tennessee, you were in Michigan on an investigation yourself. So tell us, what called you there? What did the night feel like? And what did you bring back, if anything? What evidence did you catch?
So well, thank you. First of all, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I also have to say I'm so happy that you're back, Gabriel. I know
It's
we
good to
missed
be back.
you.
It really is.
We missed you last week.
I missed you folks.
When
I tried. I just didn't have the internet.
you
It just
you
wasn't
did
there.
try. You did try, but they understood. We did a wonderful interview last week with Traveler's Moon.
Yeah.
So if you have not checked out that episode, please go check it out. It's actually a really good conversation that we had, and they are just amazing people. But they actually just like with PMS Ghost Hunter, the PMS Ghost Hunters when Pam couldn't make it, and we have to do that one again because Pam couldn't make it. This time, Traveler's Moon was like, "Well, Gabriel's not here. We'll have to do this again." And I was like, "Yep, yes, we will." So,
Absolutely. We would love to have them back. Love to have them back.
oh, they were, yeah, such a cool. I was calling them the paranormal powerhouse or paranormal power couple. I was kind of going in between the two, but they were really fun. So we did okay, but we definitely missed you, Gabriel. So just putting that
Thank you for
there.
that. I listened to a little bit of it, but in the region I was in, there really wasn't a whole lot of reception, which was the beauty of it as well. It did kind of, with being able to spend time in the Appalachian Mountains, it definitely helped when you didn't have like phones and stuff. It did wing out a lot of the evidence that we would have caught that we'd have to ship through and disprove. So there was a benefit of not having some kind of reception.
I believe that, but we'll get to all of the fun stuff that you were
Absolutely.
able to explore
Absolutely.
in just a minute. But you asked me about Michigan, which was
Yes.
kind of funny because in true Raven Knight fashion, this was not a prepared trip. This was not something that I really prepared. I heard about there was an investigation at Barb and Rick's house. So Barb and Rick own a house in Menominee, Michigan. They actually, I think, are out now. Most of the stuff was already out of the house. They had sold the house. They were going to be out of the house at the end of this month. And they were allowing the CAPS team. So our friend Barnaby Jones, if you remember Barnaby, we've met him a few times. He's a very big like cryptid guy, but him and his mom, we call her Ma, they actually do paranormal investigations together, and so they have their own team. And he was hosting an event, and I saw it actually on Facebook on a Thursday. Friday, I kind of stewed on whether I should do it or not, and Saturday morning, I woke up and went, you know what? I'm doing it. So I decided, why not drive the 4 hours to Michigan? to do a investigation at this house,
Why not?
and why not? And you and I were actually in Marquette, Michigan the weekend before that,
Sure.
doing an investigation at the Marquette Lighthouse.
Beautiful, beautiful
Oh,
location.
so
We
beautiful.
went the I screw up their name all the time. Yuppers Paranormal.
Yupert.
Super Paranormal.
Yupert.
Sorry,
The
Trish.
Yupert.
Very, very, very wonderful lady. We enjoyed um, meeting with some of the historic society there, right? And
Susan over there.
Susan, yeah,
Yeah.
Susan was great. And then meeting Trish, she was cool. You know, um, it was a beautiful, beautiful location. Just surreal with the right off the water, and a very unique experience. Um, I loved it.
Yeah. So I thought, why not, why not go back to Michigan? Um, this time, though, I messaged Trish Saturday morning, very spur of the moment, and said, hey, this is where I'm going. Do you want to go? And she was like, yeah. So we actually both drove 3.5, 4 hours a piece and met at this house. The house was featured on My Haunted Hometown. So it was actually, yeah, it was on a TV show at one point, and that episode is still up on YouTube. And then also the CAPS team had investigated a couple times, and they have had some very interesting findings on their own YouTube shows. But um, it was something else, Gabriel. I tell you, it was the kind of house that, well, I'll backtrack a little bit and say that Rick and Barbara have lived there for like 13 years. They'd lived there a long time. They'd had all of these experiences while they lived there.
What kind of
Um,
experiences can you elaborate on that?
oh, sure. Everything from, disembodied voices, of course, to Rick had been shoved on the stairs, I believe. Lots of different experiences, but what they believe is that there are several spirits that do live in this house. And there are cases or known cases of death in the house as well. So this was not one of those, oh, maybe, somebody died. This was, yeah, a couple of people probably did pass away in this house. The other thing about that was there was at one point, perhaps they don't know for sure, an orphanage there as well. So there's a lot of history to this location. The house was absolutely beautiful. But when Rick gave us a tour, and we asked him to not tell us all of the things at first. We
Okay.
wanted to go in blind. We wanted to go in with just a very little bit amount of information so that we could do our own, I guess, debunking, or we could kind of figure out on our own. That makes sense.
It does.
So, yeah, I mean, the house was absolutely beautiful. It reminded me a lot, and I did tell you this before, but it reminded me a lot of the house that we went to last time when we were in Kansas, right before
Oh,
we went
yep,
to the Sally House.
yep, yep,
It was that kind of vibe to that house.
yep.
It was beautiful, and you're going to completely understand this, and a lot of our listeners might understand this if they are paranormal investigators, but it's like when you walk into a space and you just feel it.
Oh, sure.
And there were certain places in that house that I walked into and I went, whew, okay, there's definitely something in this room. Or the next, there's a couple of rooms in there where there was definitely that feeling that something is here, not just us. And Trish had the same feeling. We did a little, I guess, before we even did our investigation, we did a little talk between the two of us and just kind of said, okay, what are you feeling before we go in, before we do this? Now, this is where the air got different again. So as soon as we started trying to do the investigation, the air was different, where we weren't getting the same kind of things. Like, okay, we're not getting the responses. We're not getting, um, all all of the things that we think were going to happen because the air switched again. But that being said, I did hear now Trish caught a couple EVPs from the location where she went downstairs in the basement and did her own little EVP session down there. I was able to hear like what sounded like a whisper on her EVP. She was a little freaked out by the man presence that was down in that basement. And I could see that because later on in the night, the air shifted again, where we definitely were getting, a different vibe upstairs. So I will say, as an investigator, I like to do things more on my own. I don't like to do them in that group setting. So it was Barnaby and Ma, and then another pair of investigators who I never did catch what their actual group name was, but
Okay.
they're also super cool. We've actually seen them at a couple of our conferences as well. They were there, and then Barb and Rick were there, and they were all Rick was actually just kind of hanging out in the living room, but the rest of them, they were upstairs doing like a little session, and I don't know, I kind of wanted to sit in the bathroom and do my own session because the bathtub was actually one of the locations that there was a known death. So I wanted to just sit in there and do my own EVP session.
If you don't mind elaborating on the bathtub, did someone like just fall asleep and drown, or did somebody unalive themselves? What happened?
This was a crazy story, actually,
Okay.
Gabriel. So the story was there was a baron because it was a lumber town.
In
Okay,
Michigan.
so yeah, so there was a baron and his wife and two small children that lived in that house.
Okay.
And the story goes that the young son actually passed away. And because of all of the grief of the son passing away, the mother actually took her own life in the staircase, which is where Rick has claimed he's been pushed, and other people have claimed they've had, that feeling in the stairwell. Different things have happened in the stairwell. And then the dad, so the Baron, because of his grief, because now he's lost his son and his wife, he decided to then, trying to think of a right way to say this,
Unalive himself.
unalive his daughter in the bathtub
Oh my. Okay.
or unaliving himself.
So
Yeah.
his daughter first, then him.
Yes.
Okay.
In the bathtub. So I know that Barb had actually had an experience where she was taking a bath in that same bathroom and had like where she felt somebody pulling at her. She was very freaked out because it felt like first of all, somebody was trying to get into the bathroom. So the door would like move by itself, or the door handle moved by itself, and then she had that feeling like somebody was actually tugging at her, and she was very freaked out about that. Yeah. So they've had a lot of experiences in this house, and a lot of tragedy has occurred in this house. So all that to be said, at that certain time, and again, it's like after midnight where the air completely shifted again upstairs. But this was after they had been upstairs and they were doing their own little group session and basically like trying to ask questions of whoever was there, and they were getting all of these responses in their own group, where I was trying to do something in the bathroom by myself and get my own kind of experiences.
And this is when we were texting each other back and forth.
Yes, and actually I was going to bring that up next because you are my co-host, and I wanted to, and also my friend and paranormal investigator, and you're like, what are you doing going to this house? But I wanted to send you some of this stuff and get obviously your thoughts and stuff on it. But even before we started investigating, I was sending pictures and telling you not much of the story at all.
The house did look creepy. What's through the pictures? I thought, well, that's creepy.
Yeah, and exactly. And so before you even knew anything, and I don't know if I've even told you this part, but I was sending you all of these pictures, and then you were getting kind of this vibe from the house yourself, which the most interesting part is I didn't tell you that now not the bathroom, but there was another room that I'd sent you pictures of. It was, I don't remember exactly what the name, they had different names for the rooms. This room was a red room, but it wasn't called the red room. There's a separate room that was called the red room. This room, the moment I walked into that room when we were doing the tour with Rick, like felt it. I felt it. I didn't tell you any of this. And you were saying that room right there is the room that, you were getting a vibe from that room. You were getting a vibe from the closet in that room, which
Yeah.
I later found out that Barb and Rick believe that that closet is actually a portal.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was also a part now when you and I were texting back and forth, and I was sitting in the bathroom trying to do my own EVP session with whoever might have been in the bathroom. You had told me to ask about a Jeff or a Jeffrey.
Like, yes.
And I did. And that's when the K2 meter started lighting up like crazy. And I was like, I don't even know how he's doing this. He's all the way 10 or more hours away from me right now.
I was in Kentucky, actually.
Kentucky. I'm in Michigan, and you're like, ask about a Jeff or a Jeffrey. And you had no idea anything about this house.
No.
Now, I don't know what the name of the Baron was or any of the kids' names. I don't know their names at all, but just the fact that everything was lighting up crazy when I brought up the name Jeffrey was just astonishing. It was just crazy. So, but, it was a really interesting experience. We had, I want to say, a lot of intelligent responses to the things that we were asking. I eventually did go into the basement with the rest of the group, and they were doing a big session down there. We were getting a lot of, they had the cat balls, they had the trip wire, they had all of that stuff going, like everything you could think of was down there. And they were running a session. They were getting some interesting stuff. You know how I feel about some of that stuff. I feel like a lot of it could just be more what you feel and EVPs and what you see and those things. But
projecting your own feelings into, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they were getting some intelligent responses though, and that was quite interesting. But I will say one of the most important, or not important, but interesting things that happened at the end of the night was we had all gone upstairs into the basement, first floor, second floor, right? We are all on the first floor. Trish goes upstairs to go start gathering some of her equipment. And Trish, now she's been doing this for a long time. She comes back downstairs, like rushes back downstairs. Hair on her arms is standing up. She is legit freaked out. And she said, was anybody else there with us or with me? Was anybody else there with me? And we're like, no, we were all right here.
And she was kind of hardcore because she'll go to that lighthouse all by herself. So
she does, yeah. She does not freak out.
Hardcore, yeah.
But she was freaked out. She was upstairs gathering some of her equipment, and she was walking down the hallway, and she heard behind her on the carpet, like someone was shuffling their feet behind her, and she was basically rushed from behind, and then she went downstairs super fast.
And she's okay, right? Nothing happened to her at all.
Nothing happened to her, but she definitely had an experience, and I was up there after that too, and you could just tell the air was definitely different again. So as for anything else, I have not gone through all of my stuff I've recorded. I did.
It's a hard process. I mean, I don't think people realize how long it takes.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I really hope, that maybe there's something, but there's a lot of hours of footage that I need to now sit through and try to see what I can find out. But
it was interesting. Through it. Yeah.
It was interesting. Although all of that to be said, of course, as soon as I got home after that super long drive, Gabriel, I was like, now where next?
Right.
Where to next?
Right.
Yeah. But that was pretty much my experience in Menominee, Michigan, and it was pretty interesting. But I would love to hear actually about your experience because I know that you were out in the Smoky Mountains.
It was. It was.
You were having quite the adventure yourself, and I know you visited several locations. So
Yeah.
I really want to hear about your adventure, and also I'm so happy that you're back.
Well, great. Thank you, Raven. I'm glad that you made it back safe from Michigan. Um, it's wonderful that you had that experience, that you were able to go and hang out with a couple of people that from the paranormal world. Um, yeah, well, let's head down to Kentucky and Tennessee. Um,
Let's do it.
one lake, and I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about, and we'll get to it in just a second. One lake with a long memory and three Smoky Mountain sites where time doesn't feel linear. Interesting, right? And for our audience, please visit us at darkwoods.paranormal.com for more captivating stories and behind the scene content. Let's dive right into tonight's stories. Are you ready, Ray? You want to mute again? I love that when you do that.
I know I have to
Okay.
sometimes. Yes, of course I'm ready.
Well, of course, since I was in Kentucky, the first thing I wanted to visit was Lake Cumberland. Do you know anything about Lake Cumberland? Okay. Well,
I actually don't know.
let me start with a brief history. Okay.
Okay.
Lake Cumberland is beautiful in the daylight. Boats, fishing, laughter, but what lies beneath the water is not beautiful at all. This lake was created when the U.S. Armed Corps of Engineers flooded entire communities in the 1950s. They said they moved every grave, relocated every cemetery, and gave those families peace. But old timers will tell you that isn't true. Not every coffin was lifted. Not every family was given back their dead. Some say the government just bulldozed headstones and let the water rise. Um, and then we're gonna go to Tennessee for a second, and then there's the old Burnside. Actually, this is still in Kentucky. That's actually the town. Um, they'll tell you that the town was relocated uphill, but divers claim you can still find remnants of it beneath the surface. And if you ask me, no one ever truly relocated the town. If you remember, we actually spoke about this with Josh Gates. He actually went there and went scuba diving, and he actually have footage of the heads. That's the lake I was at.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel a bit fancy.
Yeah. So standing by the shoreline at dusk, the lake felt wrong. It was heavy. It was silent. I heard something like a hammer striking wood or metal, faint and distant, uh, but there was no boat in sight. I don't know if it was my imagination or an echo from the drowned. So I'll ask you: when a town is drowned alive, do you really think it stays quiet, or does it rise again in the stillness of the water?
So my whole thought here is like water carries energy, right?
It does.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that any of that stuff really goes away for sure. Like I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either. In fact, if you research Lake Cumberland, and my full episode will be up soon. Once again, it takes a while to get to all that evidence. But I'll have an hour episode on the whole thing, going back to the history and some of my own personal experiences I had there. But what happened is that they to create more real estate, profitable real estate in Kentucky, they actually flooded an area that was actually a town. Um, it's true. And if you research it, you'll actually see there's still structures under the water. When the water's low, you'll actually see it. There's been a lot of investigations on Lake Cumberland. A lot of people feel like they're being tugged underneath. People just feel little bit um, off because of that, whether it be the energy of the small town that was flooded to make way for real estate, right? More profitable real estate. Josh Gates, like we just mentioned, actually went down, and you could see that there's small town. I mean, there's literally a small town underwater. The remnants of a small town, of course. But it's very interesting. It was very beautiful to see. But within that beauty, um, there was there's a weird feeling on it, because it's not natural; it's man-made, and there are headstones underwater of that
Wow.
lake. So you know, it was an interesting experience. I'm glad I was able to go visit it. I think it's something that me and you need to travel to and spend some more time doing.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. Would you ever, I don't know how you feel about diving. Would you ever go down and see that for yourself, Gabriel?
Oh, absolutely.
I would be
I'm
fascinating.
sure there's tours or something like that. I'd love to do it. But like I said, if you research it, you can actually see videos of headstones that are still there. And it's
Wow.
very unfortunate because those loved ones will never be able to be visited. And I think it would stand for reason that those bodies are probably unrest.
Oh, for sure.
There's a ghost town underwater. That's very interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I just we know again, like water remembers things.
Oh,
It's
it does.
proven that water
Yeah,
has a memory, right? And like,
it does.
we know that energy it's the same thing. So, gosh, I can't even imagine what it felt like to just be in that space.
Well, I mean, the lake also serves a positive. They do use it to generate electricity, um, but at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was an interesting experience. It was beautiful to see, um, and I'll definitely remember. There is an eerie feeling as standing on the foothold of that lake, knowing what's underneath. Um, but at the same time, you watch a lot of people enjoy it. But it definitely has kind of a undertone of uh, a mystery to it, and there is definitely a hint of, I believe, uh, paranormal atmosphere.
Wow. Okay. I can't wait to hear your full episode then.
Oh, absolutely. Are you ready to go to Tennessee? All right.
Always.
Well, I had the absolute pleasure of going to Cadiz Cove. It is a valley of beauty, cabins, churches, fields, a perfect picture. But behind that picture is a story of families forced out when the park claimed the land. So it's actually a national park, but within that national park is this town. Their graves remain, their memories remain, and I don't believe all of them left. So there's this, to paint the picture, you can drive through there, and there's literally a ghost town that was a booming community at one point. But when the state bought the land and made it a state park, um, they're pushed out. You know,
Mm.
so they have all these different buildings, cabins, churches, stuff like that. And when you research, and my full episode goes into this about the Cadiz Cove in Tennessee, I stepped into the Primitive Baptist Church. You can walk in as twilight set in. Inside, the air was colder than outside. I definitely felt a different temperature as I walked in. The pews cracked even though I wasn't even moving. You walk in, just picture, you walk into this really old antique church, and as you stand there, you can literally hear the pews cracking and making noise.
Hmm.
Um, as I stood at the pulpit, I saw movement, just the faintest slip of a shadow into the pew, gone before I could even blink. And I was there for a while, kind of looking around and trying to figure out, because I did some research on it. And there's a lady's face that you see, stuff like that. Others talk of seeing a woman's face, like I just said, appear inside the church, are hearing hymns when no one is singing. For me, it wasn't that I saw, it was what I was feeling there. Like a lot of the places we've been. You don't always catch visual evidence, but since I believe that the body is the best instrument for this kind of stuff, you could definitely feel it. The valley, it by itself, I think it breeds memory. It presses against you as you go in. Cadiz Cove doesn't shout, it doesn't scare. It reminds, and sometimes when you're there, you can feel the memory pressing back. It's a beautiful place. Um, it it does in dusk when I was there, twilight. It does give the hint of unsettling because there's a lot of mystery there. It is an old community. There is an old grave there, so I mean that by itself I thought was interesting. But going through that park and stuff was absolutely gorgeous. Wasn't that far from Pigeons Forge, is where I kind of stayed. Gatlinburg, that kind of area. It was gorgeous.
Oh
But
yeah.
there is a hint of mystique as you're driving through there, and especially seeing this town in the middle of nowhere. It's still standing, but it definitely was interesting to see. Um, so now we're going to go to the Rolling Fork Motor Nature Trail in Tennessee. Rolling Fork unsettled me more than any other stop. Um, it's a narrow, winding road lined with cabins and old chimneys. It carries the legend of Lucy, the barefoot girl buried or burned in a cabin fire, still seen walking along the road. Sometimes she even accepts a ride, only to vanish from the back seat. How many stories have we heard about hitchhikers being picked up? Well, not so much anymore, but hitchhikers being picked up and then all of a sudden vanishing at a certain time, right? Driving there at
I
night. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Unsolved Mysteries. I was gonna say Unsolved Mysteries. I heard about it all the time.
Oh,
That's why I never
absolutely.
that or hitchhikers in general. I just never picked them up
Right.
because of
Well,
Unsolved Mysteries.
first of all, we don't never hitchhike. We don't promote
No, no.
hitchhiking. You know. So I drove there at night. So driving at night, my headlights caught something pale at the edge of the trees. At first, I thought it was just the bark of the tree. Then it shifted. It moved and it was gone. So after doing all the research, here I am, a paranormal investigator, driving in the middle of the night, looking for a barefoot little girl. I don't know, right? Because who doesn't spend their evening like that? And I got a glimpse. There was a glimpse there for a second while we were driving around that I saw something just slightly. You're kind of out in the boonies, so I had a hint of hoping to catch the sight of Bigfoot, since Bigfoot is huge in that area, as you know. So, but I pulled off to one of the cabins because there is an old village. I killed the engine. I rolled down the windows. The forest roared with the water from the stream. It was absolutely gorgeous to be listening to. But underneath it, there was something else. A whisper, soft but steady, too low to make out any words, but enough to raise every hair on my arm. So I definitely had an effect when I was, sitting in my car with the engine out. Something did uh, at least affect me, that my hairs stood on my arm, and you get that kind of tingling sensation in the back of your neck that something's afoot, right? Something is there. So I'm kind of guarded and I'm looking around. Um, and the feelings of being watched, it never left. Not until I turned the key on and drove out. That's the only time that I felt like somebody wasn't watching me. But as soon as you rolled into there, Rolling Fork, there is definitely a feeling that you're being watched. And sometimes, you as you're listening to whispers, sometimes it does whisper back if you listen to some of the folklore about that area. So it was a very beautiful area. I think when our listeners listen to the full episode, it'll be great. Very entertaining, a lot of information. But it was definitely one of those experiences where you do definitely feel like you're not alone in that area.
I was gonna say though, I mean, you were saying that it was a kind of Bigfoot country, right?
Mhm.
So could it also, or could it be something like that as well? I mean, we always get that feeling. We're like, I mean, we're not Bigfoot hunters usually, but
Oh, we
people
will be, because
we
that's on
will.
our
I
bucket
said
list.
usually. I said usually. I said
We're going to
usually.
go to Michigan first, only because the drive time is a little less. And then once it gets colder, because we live in a region that it does snow and get cold, we will be going to hopefully Tennessee, and doing some more research on some of these areas, and also hopefully um, doing some Bigfoot hunting. Not to hunt Bigfoot itself, but to get some evidence of Bigfoot. I, as you know, am skeptic. You are 100% in when it comes to Bigfoot.
Oh, he's real. He's real, Gabriel.
Yeah.
He's real.
Just
Totally
like the
real.
cherry can't talk about. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I will go into Tennessee for you, with you, to see if we can't capture any new evidence on Bigfoot. The Bigfoot community in Tennessee is huge, and we'll definitely reach out to some of our friends there and see if we can't do a collaboration. But I think it's something that in once it starts snowing at the beginning of the year, we'll definitely go. I think it'll be fun.
I can't believe you just said that.
Said
Yeah,
what?
Okay. No, but I mean,
Bigfoot hunting?
no, the other thing.
Fake hair? Okay. Okay.
No,
So,
the snow thing.
oh well, so when I got back here, you can definitely feel that the weather is changing. I've seen a couple trees here and there change a little colors.
Mhm.
So it's definitely
Okay.
coming. But the good thing is we can escape it and go east. So we're willing to do that.
And then go see if we can find Bigfoot,
Yeah,
which
and-
is real.
and-
Now, Gabriel, you are a skeptic, but here's the thing. You're saying that the Bigfoot community is more prevalent, right? Think about Smoky Mountains. I know over
Appalachian.
in like Washington and the areas over there on the West Coast, like it's
Yep.
huge Bigfoot area. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're a skeptic because you live here where it's a high possibility Bigfoot doesn't live here. Bigfoot could definitely live in those deep forested areas because we don't go into there. How do we know?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I do think that with more time, I do think that there's a real chance that we could catch some evidence of the non-existing Bigfoot. When we take the example.
Well, you can't go into there. It's just so skeptic.
So, but I
Um,
mean, they have Diamondback. They have
I'll
cougar.
take one chance.
They have panther. They
Okay, I
they
don't know
have
about the cougar.
black bear, which I see black bear a couple times a week a mile. So I mean, that doesn't they're scaredy cats, but it is there. So
Yeah.
when we go, we definitely have to make sure that we are always aware that we're not the only ones there, and even though Bigfoot it doesn't exist, but we'll go look for them. It's possible that it more than likely could be a bear people are seeing. High functioning bear. Take Yogi Bear, for instance, right? I mean, Yogi Bear is pretty functioning. No, okay. Well, Yogi Bear.
Yes, no, he's very functioning. He steals picnic baskets.
Yeah, he's a thief. I mean, so we're talking about a homeless hairy guy that goes around stealing food. You can find that.
A 7-foot tall one.
It's a tall, hairless, homeless.
He was a former basketball player.
With a little tiny boo boo, following him, makes him do all the dirty work or bail him out in case he gets caught. I'm willing to go
Wait a minute.
look. I'm willing to look.
What if Boo Boo was the mastermind of the whole thing?
More than likely. Who was that? Pinky and the Brain wanted to take over the world. It's a little tiny guy, and it's always the short people. They have this complex. And if you're short, I'm sorry, but you have a complex. You are a fiery little shorty red hair, and you have a complex. I'm just saying. We all love you. You're just crazy. At a whim, you drove to a haunted house in Michigan. But whatever. You went back there.
Spur of the moment. Literally woke up and I think I want to drive to Michigan today to go to a haunted house to
Seems like
hang
a
out with
normal-
people I don't even know very well.
Normal
Why
thing
not?
to do. Normal thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Normal things to
totally.
do.
I got to live up to my reputation, Gabriel.
So, do you want to continue on Tennessee?
I would love to, but I just want to say I love the fact I love the fact that we are going to go Bigfoot hunting because
Oh, absolutely. So, here at Dark Woods Paranormal, we also cover cryptozoology. I mean, we love anything that's paranormal, ghosts, cryptozoology, UFOs.
Mhm.
All things that are not the norm. And there's some cryptids that I can definitely see. The Goat Man, I told this story. In fact, go to darkwoods.paranormal.com. Goat Man Chronicles. When I was literally here in Wisconsin, sitting there in my garage, and I was cleaning it out. Had to be 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I heard a damn goat. And it wasn't like a just a goat running around. It literally looked like it was looking into my window, and
Mhm.
and it made the goat noise, and then it rustled off. And when you're around paranormal stuff, um, and something happens, you you can feel it that it's not normal. Um, we've seen things in the sky, you and I, and you see satellites moving, whatever. It doesn't give you that unsettling, but when you see something, your body automatically knows, at least in my
Yes.
experience, that what you're seeing is not normal, and you get that feeling that, hey, I could be guarded. There's something here that isn't supposed to be here. In my garage that night, that's what I based um, the Goatman Chronicles. It, I legitimately heard something. Um, and it was my windows in my garage are about 8 feet tall, right? It's a big garage, and it literally felt, because I can't see through because the lights in the garage is dark outside, right? So you can't really see anything outside, but it definitely felt like something was looking through the window right before that noise. I was just going through my toolbox, training some tools, and then I felt uneasy just instantly. And I was in the garage for like maybe an hour and a half prior to this, and that noise. I mean, right before it happened, I got this tingling sensation through my body that something's not right, right? So, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm looking around, going, well, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I heard that noise. And when things like that happen, at least in my perspective, it takes a few seconds for your body, for your mind to register what just happened, because it's so out of the norm. Um, so, of course, it took me a few seconds. I was trying to figure out what was going on. Then I went outside with a flashlight, and I seen a hint of something literally darting through the dark woods. And I believe 100% I saw something. I don't know what it was. I didn't get the feeling that it was human at all. I do definitely think that it was something other than somebody's pet goat that got out. Um, I live in an area that is prone to UFO activities. Recently, I shared a video with you, and we were also texting with chumming with the spirits, friends of ours, of something we saw in the sky. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of feedback what it could have been. Dragon, uh, Elon Musk's rocket ship, coming apart. But in that moment, you just felt whatever you're watching, whatever you're seeing in the sky, just isn't right. There's something going on that
Hmm.
is out of the norm. So yeah,
Yeah.
but big Bigfoot hunting, absolutely. I'd love to do that sometime.
All of that you're describing is your intuition, Gabriel. Like that is your intuition.
That
That's
was
your
a
fight or
that
flight.
was a long podcast.
Cliff noted version. That is your
Yeah,
fight or flight kicking in and saying, hey, listen, we need to get out of here because it is trying to protect you from whatever the danger is out there. And we
absolutely,
all have that.
we
And
do.
that's what we
Well,
all need to
we've
listen
been in
to. But
houses, right, where we've been in rooms together, and everything felt normal, felt fine. We're just chatting up, having a conversation like we always do, and then the whole room shifts, and you get the sensation that something's no longer right. Something's happening that wasn't there before, and it's kind of hard to just write it off as just it's our imaginations, when before there wasn't a particular feeling, and then we're just chatting, and then something happens,
yeah.
something shifts, a thinning of the veil, if you will, and then we both recognize it, and simultaneously we look at each other and like, something's different, and you're like, yeah, I feel that too. And then within an hour and a half, it's back to being normal. So what is that? What happens? I think is what drives us. It at least drives me. to go these places, like Elk Mound, ghost town in Tennessee. Elk Mound is a ghost town in every sense. Once a playground for Knoxville's wealthy, music, laughter, dancing echoing in the hills. Today it is cabins collapsing into soil, porches sinking into moss, wallpaper peeling into dust. Um, I walked through there late in the day because it less tourists, that type of thing. Sunlight just pushed through broken windows, catching dust motes in the air like ghostly dances. Um, on one porch, I thought I heard music, just a note or two of a fiddle. It vanished as quickly as it came. So you gotta imagine, here I am in this haunted, supposedly haunted area again, and I'm walking through once again in the middle of nowhere. you know, on my vacation, trying to find ghosts. I heard I heard a sound in the distance. It sounded like a fiddle. Um, I Elk Mountain didn't feel hostile to me. It felt very lonely, like it misses what it used to be, all the laughter, all the people visiting. And sometimes visitors claim that they still hear the laughter, a party that ended long ago. And I got that same sensation. There definitely was something there that it was a sadness, like a missing. But it was a gorgeous place to walk through. I think during the day, it's a wonderful place to visit. At night, like most places, it definitely takes on a different feeling. So, huh.
So I want to point out the fact that you said you're on your vacation and still hunting ghosts
Yes, well,
because
I actually planned my vacation around ghost hunting. So,
I was gonna say Traveler's Moon the other night when I was interviewing them, they do the exact same thing, which made me laugh because
right.
they were literally like, "Yeah, we always end up in a creepy place, always, no matter what they're doing, always gravitate
Well,
toward the
my
haunted locations." And I'm like, "That's
the
so funny because we do the same thing."
the main purpose of going to Kentucky and Tennessee was for the research for our program, right? We're able to do a lot of things here local. I thought it'd be a good change of pace to maybe go and check out some places that are not local. So the whole premise of going out to the Smoky Mountains is the hills definitely, the mountains there definitely do have a sense of history, and they do tell a story. Um, that's why I chose that area for research for Dark Woods Paranormal. I think me and you will definitely be back there if you're
Well,
up
it
to it.
definitely does have
It
a
is
history.
it
Oh,
is almost a 12-hour drive, but it's fine.
I love a road trip. I just drove 4 and then back
That's
because
right, you did.
who literally I stayed until 2 a.m. In doing a ghost investigation and then turned around and drove home because why not?
Well, I stayed up all hours of the night making field notes and writing episodes, which will be up shortly. It takes a while to get them up, but they're very interesting, and I hope our listeners will definitely check them out at darkwoods.paranormal.com. Um, so where are we off to next? Next Saturday,
Ooh,
Raven, you and I
next
will be in,
Saturday.
and I screw this up every time I try to say it, but Tonganoxie, Kansas. Did I say it right?
That sounds better than what I've pronounced it all day.
Okay. Joining
So
our
I think it
dear
is.
friends,
Go for
joining our
it.
dear friends from Chumming with the Spirits, celebrating their success. It's open to the public. You can get tickets at Chumming with the Spirits LLC on Facebook. We'll actually, I think we're guest speakers, right? We have to come up with something? I hope. I do enjoy.
I
Um,
thought you had. I thought you had a plan there, Gabriel.
we do. We are sharing what drew us into the paranormal and what keeps us
Yes, we are.
walking this path. If you're nearby,
Yes.
stop in and say hi to Raven or myself or anybody there. And we'd love to see you there. We really would.
We do want to say, I mean, this actually started out, they wanted to do a 16,000 subscriber party. So it's to celebrate their success in their 16,000 subscribers that they reached but they posted that and now they're about at 18,000. So they have surpassed, but we will be there and celebrating with them. And yes, we're speakers. We'll also be hanging out with them. And then Matt from Drunken Cryptids, I believe, is also going to be there as well. So
Will we
hopefully I
have some
didn't mess that
t-shirts
up.
to give away to some of our folks, you think? Should we bring a couple with us?
Yes, we will.
So, while supplies last, if you happen to be in Tonksconexy, Kansas, stop on by, stop and see us on our booth. Ask for us. Hey, we're looking for Darkwoods Paranormal, and we'll have some t-shirts while supplies last, and we'll give you a few. Sound good?
Oh, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
idea. And speaking of t-shirts, we actually I just updated our website this afternoon, and we do have our t-shirt what we have available anyway for our t-shirts on there right now. So
Oh,
you
very
can check
cool.
that out. If you love our t-shirts, go and definitely buy one.
And we'll be adding new products, I believe, like posters. Remember, we're at UFO
I had
Days. People
some,
actually stole the posters off the walls. It was great.
yeah,
You know, no,
it
good
was
for them. You
amazing.
know, yeah, they did.
We didn't know they were going to do that, but people were
No,
like, "Oh, we want your posters." And I have two of our posters hanging on my wall right now, and they look amazing. So
oh,
definitely go.
fantastic. Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
go ahead. I'm sorry, Rick.
I was going to say, yeah, that's next. That'll be next Saturday. We will
We'll
be
be.
there. Maybe we'll
Stop
do.
in, say hi, get a free T-shirt while Splash lasts. So yeah,
Yeah, super exciting.
we'll sign
So
things. I mean,
yeah, we will.
if we're eating something, we'll share it. We usually have cheeseburgers around us. You know what we do? Cheeseburgers, nachos. We're usually snacking on something. Come on by,
Yeah,
grab some. We don't care. Just wash
we
our
don't
hands.
care.
But,
Let's share cheese curds with you. I don't know if they have cheese curds in Kansas. Not like we do here, but it's fine.
well, no. Well, before I leave you tonight, let me give you a quick recap of what we've descended to tonight. What do you think?
I love this.
Well, we stood at Lake Cumberland, a lake that covers a drowned town and maybe still carries its dead. We walked through Cades Cove, a valley that remembers when churches and cabins still breathe. We wound down Rolling Fork, a road that whispers beneath the roar of water, and it was that Lucy, right? And then we wandered through Elk Mound, a ghost town aching with loneliness, still holding onto its laughter from a more lively day, shall we say. So for more scary content like this, or listen to full stories of our descent into the Smoky Mountains, visit darkwoodsParanormal.com. When you're scrolling through TikTok and see us come across your feed, give us a like, drop a comment. You can find us there at Darkwoods, Paran, Parent. Visit us on Facebook as well at Darkwoods Paranormal Podcast, or on X at Darkwoods Para, P-A-R-A. Anything else you'd like to add, Raven?
I would like to actually announce that we are also now going to be on the Midnight Realm Radio. That is at 9:00 p.m. on Friday nights.
Well, how
So
cool is
that's
that?
just another place to check us out. We
Well, that's
are
awesome.
on the radio.
We are
I
going to
know.
be on the radio, absolutely. And it's only because of support, like the listeners, like you guys, that gives us this opportunity. We thank you very much.
We do thank you very much. You guys have always been so amazing. So keep doing what you're doing out there in the, I don't know, listener land? I don't know what we call that.
We're
Land.
always looking for new places to investigate. If you have a haunted house or know of a place, please visit us at darkwoodsparanormal.com. Contact us live. We're very good at responding. And we'd love any kind of feedback or any even haunted stories that you may have. We'd love to interview you as well.
Yes, we would. So, Gabriel, I want to say again, I'm so happy that you're back. You made it back safely.
No,
I
absolutely.
appreciate that you came back.
It
Thanks for
was
coming
hard. It was
back.
hard. It was so gorgeous back there. As some listeners might know, I actually had the pleasurable experience living on a boat, which was haunted, and that'll be a podcast sooner or later. And I slept like a baby on a boat in the Smoky Mountains. It was the same. I definitely I had a good time. It was it's very, to me, there was a feeling of relaxation and at ease. For some reason, I just connected with that area, and I was very glad to be able to take that journey for Darkwoods Paranormal and do some research there.
Well, I'm glad that you did, but I'm also glad you came back.
Oh, thanks. Well, she is Raven Knight. I am your humble host, Gabriel Von Graves. Stay aware, stay curious, and most of all, my friends, do stay safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you.